Kirsten. Here's my video for project number 8, pillar 6, Live to Learn. And just wanted to give you an overview as to what I have done for this project. I attended a TEDx event here in St. John's, the X being for an independently organized TED event. So not one of the large TED conferences, but one that's independently organized. And it happened at the end of May, May 25th this year. And my partner Jason and I went to the event, and it was my first TED event, and it was really fun. It was a really fun evening. There were 9 people that presented TED Talks that evening, some of them as short as 8 minutes, some as long as 20 minutes. They had a mixer in the middle for socializing and chatting with other people attending the event, and to separate, though there were 5 talks initially, then they had sort of a social time, and then they had 4 more talks after the break, and then sort of a little bit of a party after, and some music, and it was really fun. We had a really nice evening, and some other friends of us went with us, and it was great. The theme of this TEDx event in St. John's was overcoming adversity. And one reason they chose that as their first TEDx event theme is that they feel it really is a running theme within the province of Newfoundland, that people are always overcoming adversity here with being on the island and not having the access to the same things as on the mainland, and really celebrating how so many Newfoundlanders have overcome adversity and have achieved great things. And there was a wide variety between the 9 speakers of overcoming adversity. So there was everything from leading expeditions all over the world into the mountains of Nepal and other areas, and how you overcome adversities from the weather, injuries while you're out there, just dealing with the elements in general. That was really fascinating and really neat to listen to that talk. There was a Holocaust survivor who came, and his talk was, of course, all about having lived through the Holocaust and how his life has been affected since then, and what he lost, what he's gone through since, and all the adversity that he has overcome. There was also a younger fellow who had survived the war in Kosovo, and his family had fled Kosovo, and his long journey walking out of the country and surviving, as well as the adversity that he has had to overcome since then as well, and things that he saw, as well as the Holocaust survivor, that they've had to overcome and deal with and never forget. There was a really funny woman who presented on addiction counseling, and her story of how she got into addiction counseling was really quite comical in some ways, the way she presented it, where she got carjacked and by a fellow who had robbed Sobeys for cheese. And it was really quite funny. He was trying to sell cheese to pizzerias to make some money. Unfortunately, he was a drug addict, and he was looking to make enough money for his next hit, and so had decided to rob Sobeys for boxes and boxes of cheese. But through that, she decided that she had a real interest in counseling these individuals and helping people overcome their drug addictions, alcohol addictions, and things like that. So she's currently doing her PhD and is a counselor in that area. Another fellow who's a writer did a talk on creative thinking, and how he teaches, but how he's also trying to get into the publishing world and writing books, and how he, through overcoming adversity with not finding publishers and this sort of thing, has turned to e-publishing, and how that's opened up a whole new world for him not having to put it in print, but just to be putting it online, and talked really interestingly about how he came to that decision and what that has meant for him now. Another individual was talking about racism. He grew up in a Black community in Nova Scotia, and was talking about how, really how racism barriers were finally broken down where he was from, and what he's had to deal with and overcoming throughout his lifetime, growing up in small town Nova Scotia, where when he was a young boy, Blacks were not accepted. And that was a very powerful talk that he presented. There was another talk as well on how social media helps people overcome adversity. This individual, their talk explained how they had gotten to know this fellow online who has cystic fibrosis, and he lives on the west coast of the United States. And through his progressing disease with cystic fibrosis, he had fallen into a depression and was not in a good space, but how through social media he has been able to make a career of working online, working from home, and it's actually connected him to a large support network and a large network of friends. So he now keeps in touch with a lot of people. There were 5,000 people on Facebook that helped to raise money to buy him a new motorized wheelchair, and he just has created this whole new community. And the point of the talk was, has social media helped him overcome adversity? And it really has. So a lot of very different ideas. And then the final talk was a really interesting fellow who had been a very successful businessman, and had a wonderful family, and was very seemed to be having the ideal, quote unquote, ideal life. And then unfortunately his father was diagnosed with cancer, who he was very close to, and he passed away. And when his father passed away, he really spiraled down and started drinking heavily. His business went under, his marriage ended, and just a spiral down for a couple of years. And then decided one day that things that he had really wished that he'd had a chance to do with his father, or do for his father, but wasn't able to. His father didn't live long enough. Why couldn't he do that for other people? So he decided to dress up as a genie. And he has this blue face mask that he puts on with this little sprig of hair that comes out the back, and wears a red suit. And he has his own sort of Make-A-Wish Foundation. And he's been able to, over the last almost 3 years, I think it was 2 years, 10 months at that point, he's been able to grant 70 wishes in many different countries, where he does more of extreme wishes. So taking people in a fighter jet, or jumping out of a plane, or things that are a little more extreme, but all for cancer survivors, or people going through it at the moment. And it was really interesting. So he dresses up with this genie, and he arrives, and he helps grant you your wish, taking people for rides in Lamborghinis and on racetracks and all sorts of really crazy things, but really fun things that people might have on their bucket list that maybe they would always have wanted to do, but would never have had the chance to do it. And he's loving it. He's really pulled himself out of a bad place. He's overcome that adversity and is shining on the other side of it. So it was a really interesting evening. There were so many little things to take away from each and every presenter, each presenting on something very different of how they've overcome adversity, and makes you very inspired to overcome your own adversity and to help others as well. And really, truly finding happiness in helping others. That is a huge part of it. And every day within the yoga studio, we are helping people overcome different adversities, even though we may not know that we are. Everyone comes in with their own story and their own thing that they're working through in their own life, whether it's big or small. And yoga is definitely one huge part of the puzzle in helping to overcome adversity. And I think all of us as yoga teachers can probably attest to adversity that we've overcome through our practice. And I want to continue inspiring people to overcome their adversity through their practice and through spreading love and kindness and peace throughout the rest of their day and the rest of their life, and to help others as well, and reach beyond your mat and beyond the studio, and to just spread that throughout the community and throughout the world. So that is my project number 8, Live to Learn. And I did learn a lot through that project. Thank you. Bye.